2A sectional 34, you've got Woodland at Bremen. Woodland uncharacteristically going into the season during the Sherwood-Haydock era, under 500, sub 500 right now, 4-5, although a lot of that has to do with the strength of the non-conference competition that they faced. And Bremen, pretty darn good, 7-2.
You know, Woodland, we talked going into week 7 and say, okay, we're really going to find out what Woodland is over the next 3 weeks. And they failed all 3 tests. I mean, you know, week 7, week 8, week 9, they lose all 3. So where are the Woodland Warriors right now? We felt, yeah, they're going to regress from last year a little bit, but man, under 500, didn't expect that.
They've had a streak. They've been streaky this season. They stumbled out of the gate, which was expected based on the seniors that they lost on the team that went down to Lucas Oil Stadium last year. Then they seemed to right the ship in the middle of the season, and part of it is the schedule that they played. And then in the back half, they've regressed to a certain degree in terms of the outcomes on Friday night. Although I will say, they have had a whole heck of a lot of success in the playoffs the last 2-3 seasons. Yeah,
definitely, but just not given any favors week 1, having to go to Bremen week 1 and really a good Bremen team. So very, very big hurdle for Woodland, who we thought, you know, 2A, once they got into the playoffs, maybe they get a good draw and be able to play for a sectional title. They're right off the bat have to play Bremen.
Yeah, and the next game in that bracket, Wabash at Central Noble. Central Noble is kind of a surprise team at 6-3. Not a lot of people talking about them, but they run the football effectively. They play pretty good defense. That could be a team, if Woodland or Bremen wins, whoever wins that first matchup, could overlook a team like Central Noble.
Sure, yeah. Emotionally, you are on a high if you win Friday night, and then Central Noble has been that team that's slid under the radar for a fair amount of the year in the NECC, perfectly capable of knocking a team off.
On the bottom half of that bracket, we've got Bluffton 5-4 at Manchester, who is 3-6, and then Whitco and Prairie Heights, both those teams are 1-8. We could very well, if things play out, be talking about the Bluffton Tigers playing for a sectional championship.
Would be awesome for Bluffton, right? And Brent Kunkel getting that program going. Gave up a lot of points to Lakeland in a loss last week, and I don't think we give Lakeland enough credit either in terms of that offense being able to turn it on in the second half of the year. But Bluffton, you know, things go well and they get into that sectional championship game. You never know what can happen.
Especially when you run the football like them, the weather gets a little bit worse. They don't rely on the passing game. Things could go well. Brent Kunkel doing a nice job. And, yeah, it looks like, you know, if they can take care of business, I don't know, I'm not overlooking Manchester, especially you don't overlook a road opponent in the playoffs, but things looking good for Bluffton.